El Hijo, a Wild West tale. Easy on the wallet, but is it worth your time?
We experience a new level of Catholic anxiety in order to find out here on Broke and Gaming.
Welcome, absolutely everyone, to Broke and Gaming. I'm your host, Shea.
I am your other host, Dan, and hey, Shea, what have you been playing recently?
Well, after a recent betrayal, possibly, by PlayStation, I have been leaning so heavily into the Xbox that I don't even know who Sony is anymore.
Do any of us really know who Sony is, like when you think about it?
I feel like we're about to not know who Sony is, but anyway, I digress. I've been playing NHL a ton, still cruising through the NHL standings, just ended a 20-game winning streak, so...
Jesus Christ.
So doing great there.
Historically, is that something a team has ever done? I'm assuming so.
I am actually not sure. Hold on. No, the longest winning streak in NHL history is 17 games.
Well,
so
you're out here making history, Shea.
Exactly. As a stats update, a slightly more likely player to lead the NHL in points currently leads the NHL in points from my team. Not James Van Riemsdyk anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. He does have 33 goals in 35 games, which is also a historic pace for goal scoring. But he has been surpassed by Sean Couturier, who the season that this game takes place in was injured for the whole year.
That's
so so everything's coming up golden.
Love it.
Other than NHL, though, it's basically been Mass Effect.
Yeah,
so.
we were texting about it a little bit, and I do want to get back into it. I might end up getting the bundle.
Why do the humans suck so bad?
I don't know. They spend so much time on character development for like all of the different alien races that I think humans were kind of boiled down into like archetypes.
Yeah.
Like this one is just full of hate. This one is well-meaning but kind of stupid. Like it's just that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, your two human companions in this game are blank slate and racist.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Ashley sucks super hard. I had said to you, like, I don't think I use a human for the majority of my run throughout these games. The one I ended up using a lot was Jack, who is introduced, I believe, in the second game.
Yeah.
I dug them a lot. And it was like the only viable romance option because I feel weird about fucking aliens in games. I don't know what it is, but it's just how it plays out in my brain.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan? What have you been playing?
Not a goddamn thing.
Nice.
It has been a very busy couple weeks, as lead-ups to holidays tend to be. Like, Thanksgiving Day itself is my only day off. So yesterday, by the time you hear this, I've had either work or some sort of social obligation that I had to fulfill pretty much every day. So not a lot of time for anything. We did look into, just because you had mentioned it, something is going on and we're trying to figure out if it's us or something has changed. So with PlayStation, a bunch of things that I've gotten through PlayStation Plus, I no longer have access to. And Shea, it seems like it's the same on your side of things.
Correct.
So, listeners, do us a favor. If you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, go through your catalog and see if this is happening to you as well. Or if this is just something we didn't notice that happens. Like if something's taken out of PlayStation Plus, you no longer have access to it. My understanding was that as long as it was something in your library, like if you put it in your library before it was removed from PlayStation Plus, it was yours.
As long as you were a PlayStation Plus subscriber.
Yeah, as long as your membership hadn't lapsed. And like I'm locked out of something that is on my hard drive, like something I had downloaded from PlayStation Plus, fully installed, and I can't play it. So that also contributes to me not playing anything.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I have a few days off after the holidays, and I'm looking forward to getting into something I know that we've been streaming, and I know that one of our frequent guests has been playing, and maybe we'll be discussing that in the near future. But for right now, tell us if we're crazy or not, and we will get into today's game. And we will start, as we always start, with our short-change history. Today we're talking about El Hijo, a Wild West Tale, which is a 2020 stealth action game developed by Honig Studios and Quantum Frog and published by Handy Games. Honig is a multimedia production company based in Berlin, Germany, creating a wide variety of products such as films, games, and educational tools. Quantum Frog, also based out of Germany, is primarily an app developer but has a handful of console and PC games to their credit. And then there's Handy Games, based in, hey Shea, can you guess where?
Would you call me crazy if I said Germany?
You are absolutely correct. 1 point on the big board. Also Germany, and they are currently an indie publishing subsidiary of THQ Nordic, who was founded in 2000 and acquired in 2018. Now, one of the games that I wanted to highlight for Handy Games had me genuinely concerned.
Oh, no.
Well, because it's called Aces of the Luftwaffe.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had a very quick assumption, and I am pleased to report that A, it is not historical, and B, you do not fly for the Nazis. Like, I think it might just be the slightest bit of something lost in translation. Like, generally, if you say Aces of whatever, I would think that that's who you're going up against. But no, these are like Nazi UFOs that you're battling.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of like strict laws in Germany about displaying certain things, everything's branded with an iron cross instead of a swastika, sure. Which is dope. It looks like it may actually be worth playing. It's a top-down, like, bullet hell style shooter. Gotcha. Just with like wild alternate history, World War II stuff. It looks kind of fun, but maybe one day. But our game today is available currently for PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, PC, and mobile platforms. Shea, do me a favor. Can you tell everyone what El Hijo is actually about?
Sure, Dan. In El Hijo, a Wild West Tale, you play as every Catholic orphanage boy's worst nightmare, a child escaping from a monastery, in order to reconnect with his mother, who is being hunted down by outlaws in the wild West. Yep,
and that is literally the entire story. This is an interesting game. I've made the accusation previously. Well, yeah. I've made the accusation previously that like some of the stuff that we play feels more like a tech demo than an actual game, and I don't know that anything has been more true than this as an example. So let's get into gameplay, since that's really all we can talk about here.
Yeah,
so
sure.
As
we've already covered story.
Yeah. As the son, you are exclusively operating in stealth just to get from point A to point B. There's 30 stages of just sneaking around either monks, outlaws, or like the actual law, all of which, if they see you, you get captured and then you just go back to a checkpoint. Along the way, there are collectibles in the form of children that you can inspire, which 9 out of 10 times just means you teach them how to juggle.
Dog.
Yeah. Right.
It's a fucking grim mechanic.
It's yeah, so there's a whole lot of child labor in the Wild West. Not to say that there isn't currently, but it's so the first couple stages, as Shea said, we're going through a monastery. So they're, doing the dishes or cooking or whatever. But as you progress, you're in like gold mines and you see children shackled, like,
oh my god,
yeah, like throwing around a pickaxe. It's rough. There are kids in like just straight up cages at certain points in the game where,
oh my god,
the version of inspiring them is literally giving them water because otherwise they will likely die. It's jarring given the tone of the rest of this.
This studio had some feelings about monks, I think.
About a lot of things, I feel. But the mechanics of the game itself are you can sneak in shadows to not be seen. You can hide in certain things, and you can try to distract the different, I guess enemy types is really the only way to describe it. But
sure.
Like literally it is just go from here to here without being seen. That's the whole mechanic of the game. You do get a couple different tools to assist you in this. You get little like tin wind-up toys that you can have them like follow, so you can kind of like run behind them if it's a well-lit area. You get a slingshot to knock out lanterns or things like that. Or, you know, it does make sound as well, so that'll draw them. There are cactus flower pollen bombs, I think. It's
why not?
Ill-defined. You basically like pick a flower off of a cactus and you can throw it, and it just creates a cloud of pollen that you can sneak through, like a smoke bomb.
That no one suspects.
Yeah, they just start like choking on it, and then you're like, it's just, you're fine. Yeah, but
it only affects lungs over the age of 10.
That's correct. Yeah. Well, that's why they have those kids working in the mines too. There's no black lung for children.
Oh my god. Let's keep going.
Oh, should we? Okay, great. But that's it. That is it. I am roughly halfway through, and I absolutely got the gist of this. And certainly didn't. I looked ahead, and there's no story even at the end of it. You're just reunited with your mother. And a big problem, and like, not to super jump ahead here, but like, I had a big problem connecting with anything going on in this game because they don't really give any sort of motivation. You don't know what's going on with the mother or why she's on the run. Like, the opening cutscene just has bandits burning down your house, but you don't know why. You don't know, like, if it was a random act of violence, but if that's the case, is the whole thing a vengeance mission on your mother's side, who you do play as occasionally? But, like, why is any of this happening? There's zero dialogue in this game. There's not text boxes. There's nothing. So, like, it is just like, here's what we're doing. Do it. Good job. You did it. That's everything.
Yep.
The children, guess what happens if you inspire all the children? Guess what your reward is?
Oh, no.
What's the worst in-game reward?
Well, I know that if you inspire enough children, at certain points you unlock gallery stuff.
Yep, that's it. Concept art.
Yep. Is it concept art? Okay.
Yeah.
That's, like, better than what I thought it was going to be.
Nope, it's just concept art. Like, the kids do, on occasion, give you some of those tools, but, like, I didn't use enough of them to need to be replenished, and they're kind of plentiful anyway. There's little treasure chests all over the place in each stage to get more of the toy soldiers or whatever.
Yeah.
I just didn't think they were that effective because realistically, this gameplay isn't that challenging once you get the hang of it.
Yeah.
Like, nothing posed a real threat at any point in time. And if it was just like a stupid mistake on my part for not checking field of vision.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think? Where are you at gameplay wise?
I mean, it's very similar to a lot of other, like, hastily put together stealth games, I would say. It didn't really add a whole lot to the genre. Just kind of put a Wild West skin on the game and called it a day.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I mean, it was fine as a hastily put together stealth game, but
it's just kind of nothing. It's just kind of nothing.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that sentiment.
I'll reveal a couple more things in just a bit, but I mean, is there really anything else we can talk about before we get into pros and cons at this point?
No, we're in pros and cons, Dan.
All
Look
right.
around you. Use your pet dove to see what I see.
Yeah. This is far too repetitive. There's not enough introduced to make the gameplay interesting at any point in time, I don't feel.
Yeah.
Because even the different tools you get are just variations on, can I sneak directly in front of them, or do I sneak behind them by distracting them this way? That's
right, drawing them away. Yeah.
The only one that has a real, like, strategic gameplay mechanic is stuff with the slingshot. Breaking lanterns so that you create more shadows is about the most skill-driven part of this game.
Yeah.
And that's more deductive reasoning than actual gameplay.
Right.
So, I mean, this just kind of falls flat for me. as far as what a game is supposed to be. Looking at the trailer for this, I thought it was going to be much more puzzle based in a almost, you set off Rube Goldberg-esque kind of things. That's what I wanted from this. Like, you hit the goat, and then the goat freaks, or like hit something near a goat, and the goat freaks out and like runs into this post, which knocks this thing down. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then like that knocks out one of these guard-like figures.
Right.
No, there's zero violence in this game at all, which is fine because, you know, you can aim it toward a younger crowd then, despite all the other gruesomeness.
Right. Despite the bleak nature of the rest of the game.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so little to experience. Once you get through the first couple levels, it is just doing the same thing on repeat. Like, the most major mechanic that they threw in that wasn't even stealth based is you can drive a minecart.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, there's one of those track switching devices.
Ooh, look at that.
I know. And then they do, in one level, they have a sandstorm mechanic where you, like, it's kind of like in Inside with that weird sonic blast that would keep happening. Like, you had a certain period of time where you had to get to the next point to hide behind.
Right, and if you didn't, your brain would explode out of your ears.
Yep, and that's at least something different.
Yeah.
But it was implemented in a less fun and inventive way than what we saw in Inside for the same type of thing. It's also like the shortest stage overall.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Dan. It actually makes a lot of sense that you say one of these game developers was known for at least partially publishing educational materials.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's kind of what this feels like, is like, I don't know, if like the Jumpstart studio made like a stealth game.
It's Baby's first stealth game, yeah.
Right, yeah. Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, for sure not.
But like, what are they doing next? Because this was not it.
I mean, I can tell you what their next game was.
I would actually love to know what their next game is.
Not anything even remotely like this. They
actually developed a Sonic the Hedgehog game.
Yes. No, it's
Can you imagine?
It would be very fascinating if
Right?
Team Sonic was like, I think these guys got something.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's an RPG and deck builder game called Lost Glitches.
Okay.
I'm always skeptical of deck builders just because it's such a wild array of good and bad in that kind of thing. Artistically, it looks dope as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I'm super into the art style in this, but without playing it and without learning the mechanics of the card game itself, it would be hard to judge off of that. But I'll send you some screenshots later on. It looks awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of the art style, that's actually a minor pro I would say that I have for this game, is that the art style looks very nice, I would say.
Charming, I think, is a good way.
Yeah.
Like, it's got
palatable.
Yeah, even though these are 3D rendered models, it does kind of give that hand-drawn 2D impression. Like, it looks like a storybook.
Yeah.
Like the Golden Book series kind of thing. Like, it's got that sort of feel to it.
Sure. Yeah. Do you remember anything about the soundtrack? Because I'm drawing a complete blank
It is
on the music for this game.
Negligible.
Sure. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Usually, if I can't think of it, that's what that means. But there's a lot about this game that I forget.
Yeah.
So
it was as background music can be.
I wanted to double check there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad like just dunking on this game because like we said earlier, it's Baby's first stealth game, and I think rightfully so, they pivoted away from stealth quickly.
Yeah, I don't know who had the bigger hand in the development between Honig and Quantum Frog, to be fair.
Sure.
If it was a true collaboration, that would also make sense to me because Quantum Frog does do a lot of like mobile game stuff, and this has a lot of mobile game simplicity to it. Like, you can get this for mobile platforms. I feel like the controls would be dog shit, but
yes.
aiming doesn't work great on console. I can't imagine it translating at all to mobile.
Yeah. This game feels real at home in a web browser, I think, in 2009.
Yep, this could be a Kong Games website kind of game, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Occasionally I like to just fucking go play a Flash game on a browser page, but
100%.
not on my PlayStation.
It will very clearly be reflected in our last 5-point question.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other major points you want to cover for pros and cons? It's just so nothing. Like, it really is, right? Like...
Yeah. I'm like, let's do the quiz and get out of here. Like, it's... I don't know. I feel like we've wasted our time. We've wasted the listeners' time enough.
Oh,
you know what
I mean? I don't know about that.
Like, I don't... Yeah, I guess that's too harsh. Like, we haven't wasted time, but, like...
We're doing a public service, and then...
I don't know that there's a whole lot to say about this game.
We're giving our listeners and the customers enough information to go off of as to whether or not they should buy this. And how do we normally do that, Shea?
We do that by throwing numbers, Dan.
Ooh, let's throw them numbers.
Let's do it. Up first, does it work?
So I just mentioned that aiming has some problems because it's that like almost sort of kind of isometric view. It's not perfectly isometric because certain stages do present it at slightly different angles, but aiming isn't like a perfect XY axis kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, they do sometimes factor in if you're at a higher elevation that your projectile can go further, and sometimes they just fucking don't. Sometimes you can't shoot north and it'll like loop around and just be to the south for no reason.
That's good. Love that.
So it's gonna be a half point. Most of the other stuff felt pretty tight, like running and hiding and things like that, that's the stuff you need to nail when it comes to a stealth game. I think it was perfectly serviceable. It wasn't anything special, which is kind of the overarching theme here, but it did the thing it needed to get right enough.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The stealth was fine enough for it to merit a half point, but the aiming was like too precise. Like in the early going when you're just like tossing rocks, like there are so many things you can't toss rocks around, and you end up having to like spend all this time like doing like these very precise, like I have to get it in this cell or else it won't do what I want it to do.
Yeah, he'll turn just a couple degrees less than what I need him to turn away from me. Right.
But if I go any closer, I can't throw it over his head. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, the aiming was not great, but the stealth worked fine enough that I think it gets a half.
I mean, realistically, I went through a good portion of what I played not even worrying about that.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing to get past them, which is more timing based, which is not a fun mechanic. Like,
no.
Because it's all pattern recognition. I mean, we complained about it for
75 minutes in the Dismantle episode about how much we don't like real life time being a factor in a video game. And like, this isn't like timer based, but like, you know, I have to waste 30 of my real life seconds waiting for this guy to turn to the left.
Yep.
You know?
It is that, because it's just, they're on rails basically until they're distracted. Then they'll go to the point of where the sound came from, or the toy is sitting, or whatever. But otherwise it is just like, all right, he walks that way and then he walks this way. I'll sneak behind him when he walks this way. That's it. That's the vast majority of sneaking around. Yeah.
All right, Dan, is it engaging?
And because of what I just said, no point here. It's just repetitive. Like, it's not bad. It's just nothing. Like, I think this is more suitable for a browser kind of experience where it is a max of 10 levels. And you can make the levels a little bit bigger, maybe introduce a mechanic every other, like one of these new tools, and that's enough to fulfill that. Expanding this out to 30 fucking levels.
Yeah.
And it's not even like it's drastically different settings either. Like, it's 5 or 6 in the monastery, then you're just like in the fucking desert for the rest of it, basically.
Oh my god.
It's desert and mines. That's it.
That sounds horrific.
Yep.
Cool. 0 points from me as well. Mm-hmm. That's Does it look good?
I like the way this looks. I think the art style is well done overall. Especially with the cutscenes, like the way they were able to make the gameplay itself look like the cutscenes, where it's, again, sort of hand-drawn. I do like that borderless art style, where it doesn't look like they're filling in a coloring book. Like there's no hard edges on an image. I always like the way that looks in contrast to backgrounds and things like that, and that does carry forward into the actual gameplay. So yeah, this is a pretty solid point for me.
I know that I brought this up during pros and cons as a pro. I think I'm only going to give it a half.
That's fine.
There's nothing wrong with the art style, but I feel like if I give it a full point, it's a half of it is a pity point. You know what I mean? Like I want it to do good here because that was something that I did enjoy about it, but I don't know that it's strong enough to really merit a full point for me.
What could they have done to improve upon the art style?
I mean, I don't know. Any other biome?
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
You know?
No, that's a perfectly valid reason.
The monks do look a little... Or not the monks, sorry. The children look a little strange also. And not like in a bad way, but in like a way that it's kind of...
You know what they looked like to me? Actually, now that you mention it.
What's that?
Almost like just complete side characters that don't even speak to you in like Wind Waker. Does that track for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, that's good. All right, Dan, is there replayability?
No. There are between like 2 and 5 children to inspire in just about every stage, with the exception of the sandstorm stage or any of the ones that you play with the mother. But
the mom doesn't have strong feelings about child labor.
I mean, she dropped the kid with the monks in the first place, so no, not particularly, I don't think. She only has vengeance on her mind.
Maybe. And who knows?
Yeah, I'm speculating.
She has implied vengeance.
Yes. Or, she's a sociopath. Who knows? But being that the only thing that you can get as a reward for doing what ends up being probably close to 75 children overall is just concept art, which I could Google. They actually have it on their webpage, like some of the concept art.
Wow.
So like, hey, yeah, no, there's no replayability here for me at all. The gameplay itself isn't enough to warrant replaying, and without a story to experience, which
correct, Dan. Is there a story?
No, I presume we both are doing zeros for both of these, just because it's just not. It's nothing. Yeah, like I have nothing more to say because it's so nothing.
As a kind of honorable mention to this point, I do want to say that they tried to like string a story together. It just needed 1,000,000% more fleshing out.
Yeah.
It was extremely confusing to me why the mother brought the son to the monastery in the first place. I'd like, you go visit a grave and then you're just like at the monastery.
Yeah.
And it's super unclear how those two things are related and like why she's going away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the only undercurrent you kind of get is that this monastery is aiding in building bombs for the bandits.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, some of the children are making bombs also.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, like, there's a portion of the game where there's, like, you're, like, stealthing through a shootout where everybody's just missing, like, in an old spaghetti western. Like, they're just shooting off into nothing. And you see the cardinal or whatever that keeps reoccurring, like, get on a train and book it, like, after dropping off a bunch of explosive barrels. But yeah, they're somehow in cahoots. But one would presume the mom didn't know that if she was going to drop you off at the monastery in the first place.
Right. Or, like, are you supposed to be her inside agent sabotaging all of this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have no fucking clue. What was the motivation to put the kid in the monastery that you apparently know is bad because you're going after the guy that's funding all of this shit? You know?
Yeah.
I just don't know anything about anything in this game.
Let's
and that's
create
why...
a story. Here's what's actually happening. So our character is actually a Benjamin Button style character and is what you think is the mother's father. So he's aging backwards. This is all his master plan from the beginning. He said, I look like a child. Drop me off at the monastery. I'll get to work sabotaging from the inside. You sabotage from the outside. And we'll meet somewhere in the middle in Wyoming. Does that work?
Sure.
Great. That's the story.
Also, they're from the future.
And they're from the future, right?
And why
I forgot
not?
about that part.
Yeah.
Hey, Shay, would it shock you to know that this game won a bunch of awards?
Wow.
Yep.
Can you list any of them?
Yeah. It was it was named the best indie game and best stealth game for Welcome to Last Week 2020. It was awarded best indie game at the Gamescom Awards 2019.
Nope.
Won best family game at some German computer game award ceremony. It was nominated for best of E3 in 2019.
Oh my god, false. That cannot be true.
Hey man, it is one of those kind of things.
Hold on a second.
With best of E3.
Fucking 2019 E3. I gotta see what was.
So best of E3, in fairness, is kind of like with cans, like where anybody can nominate anything.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like, it's not like it's an official selection of E3. It's like,
yeah.
At least that's my read on it.
Dog, fucking E3 in 2019 was when Breath of the Wild was announced. Do not fucking tell me that this game won best of E3.
It didn't win. It was just nominated for it.
Okay. All right.
But yeah,
Unfucking. Oh no, I'm sorry. 2019 was when it was announced that Breath of the Wild was getting a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
still
maybe,
though.
Yeah. I don't. And with those kind of things, it's not, with E3 especially, it's rarely a finished product that's being put out on the floor. It is kind of speculative gameplay and
tech demo.
Yeah. So maybe people did feel this had more promise, which I could understand, but as it stands now, not so much. Anyway, let's get to that last 5-pointer.
Yes, Dan, our 5-point question is it worth the cost?
El Hijo, A Wild West Tale, retails at our full price of $19.99.
Fuck off.
Across the board, with the exception of mobile platforms. I don't believe it's $20 for mobile, but what is? Man, it's a 1. Nothing about this couldn't have been done
oh my God,
through
Dan.
a free browser. Is it $20 on mobile?
It's not 20, but it is 10.
That's still too much.
Which is the most expensive I've seen an app in the App Store.
Do me a favor real quick. Look up what game we covered, Gree, retails at for mobile.
$4.99.
That's correct. So, look.
Fuck. Did we do zeros on this one?
There's nothing stopping us from it.
That's true.
I'm going with a 1 because, like, you could get some enjoyment out of playing the first couple stages, but after that, once you kind of get what the game loop is, you've played essentially the whole game. Like, without any sort of story progression, without any sort of real mechanical shifts that are, like, lasting. You're not learning from anything. You're not expanding.
Right.
It is, as we said, baby's first stealth game. If you're someone looking to get into the genre, I can understand, like, this being a good way to test the waters. But there's nothing stopping this from being a web browser game.
Yeah.
So it's a 1 from me.
If
you want to go 0, I will fully support it.
I think that's too cruel. I'm gonna give it a 1 because, and this is genuinely like the only reason it's not a 0. But like, if you're trying to find a stealth game for your 7-year-old to start playing before you move them on to like Metal Gear Solid or something like that, this could be useful. No, you know what though? I still can't justify it being $20 fucking dollars, and $10 on mobile is absurd. I'm gonna give it a 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm averaging it at like between $1 and $4 would maybe be worth it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's a $2 game at best in my brain. Yeah, no, 20 is outrageous. And look, I totally get it. Developers need to put food on the table as well.
Right.
But this is what you came to the marketplace with. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's 2.5 from me, 1 point from Shea. And generally now we do ask, regardless of numbers, would you recommend this game? And I think the only real answer here is only in very specific circumstances, which is
correct. Yeah.
Pretty much as Shea described. Like, if you've ever played even a Sly Cooper game, this is such banal child's play. It's, it's just nothing. It's just nothing.
Yeah.
It's ages like I'll even go 10 and under. I think this is an appropriate game.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, Dan, that only leaves us with one more thing to do. Do you want to play a game?
Oh.
A real game?
A real game. Yeah, I'd love to play a game. I don't do bits on this side, so like I'm unprepared. Oh shit.
That's fine, Dan.
Okay.
Our game today has a Wild West setting, and what's the most iconic character of the Wild West?
Like real historical person or in video games?
Just like a job, I guess.
Oh,
cowboys.
Sheriff? Oh god. Okay.
Cowboys were a staple
already
of the
failing
Wild
out
West.
of the gate, Shay.
Cowboys were a staple of the Wild West, and who's a cowboy's best friend, Dan? That's right, the horse. While most horses are throwaway characters for whatever reason, and remain nameless in most games, there are a fair few that are named in-game and provide a constant companion for you to lean on.
Okay, alright.
Such as Gerald's horse in the Witcher series. Today, we're going to play a game I've decided to call Who You Gonna Ride in an effort to lose all of our listeners at once, and you're going to tell me the names of some of video games' sturdiest steeds.
Okay. Okay. How
we feeling so far?
I'm trying to compile a list in my brain ahead of time, and it's not going great. Because, like, one of the ones I was, like, relatively confident about was Geralt's horse.
We may throw that in as a bonus at the end. Jesus, first up, Dan.
This is so stressful. Why do I put you through this every episode, practically?
In the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, you get a horse at the end of the Dark Brotherhood questline who carries you all over Skyrim with almost unlimited health, the ability to climb sideways up mountains, and a strange teleportation trick that brings him not only to wherever you are after you fast travel, but also to a different part of the continent. He also appears in Oblivion, also as a Dark Brotherhood reward. That horse's name is...
Oh, wait, it is...
Shadowmere.
Is it the same one?
But
in
the
Oblivion?
horse I want you to tell me about
fuck.
is the
God
skeletal blue horse.
I knew that.
I'm sorry, Dan. That one was too easy. The horse I want you to tell me about is the skeletal blue horse given to you by a mystical soul in the Soul Cairn who teaches you the spell to summon him after finding his skull. Similar to the summoned Durnevere Shout from the same DLC, you are then able to summon this magical Skelehorse in both the Soul Cairn and Tamriel.
Nothing. Zero. Like, I only knew Shadowmere because of Oblivion. I don't know that I ever got through the full questline in Skyrim for the Shadow Brotherhood. Fuck.
I've dropped a picture of the horse into the Discord.
Oh, I think I remember what it looks like. I will look at it. Yeah.
Do you want a hint, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take all the help I can get.
The name of this horse is very similar to the second snake in Nintendo's Pokédex, a large purple cobra.
It's similar to Arbok?
Correct. You change one letter, and they're next to each other on the keyboard.
That is... Okay, you're being very generous now. All right, so it's... so it's either... So you're saying it's either Arvok or Arnok.
Both of those could be a fantasy video game horse name.
Yeah, and Arnok is what feels more right to me.
I'm sorry, Dan. The name of the horse is Arvok.
Yeah, sure.
And you are able to summon him once you discover Arvok's skull in the Soul Cairn.
Absolutely.
But this one should be pretty easy for you. Introduced in Gen 1 of the Pokédex, this fire-type horse is bathed in a mane of flame, a majestic, oddly muscular body, and once won a horse race for Ash in the Pokemon manga after evolving mid-race. This evolution of Ponyta also has a psychic fairy form in Galar, the region in Gen 8, Sword and Shield.
Rapidash, baby.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. That is Rapidash, yes.
All right, thank Christ. Not even the one that I thought I would get, so I'm already ahead of the game in my brain. I'm good now. I can relax.
All right. All right, Dan, up next. Mixed in with his myriad animal neighbors, this horse from Animal Crossing didn't stand out among players among his friends. characterized only by his lazy attitude, his sweater, and his house made of dirt. What was the name of the horse neighbor you could have in Animal Crossing?
Are there how many?
Would you like?
How many
hint,
horses
Dan?
are? Which one was it introduced in?
As far as I can tell, this is the only horse in Animal Crossing.
Oh, that can't be true.
There is a unicorn named Julian. Hold on a second. Oh, nope, you're right. There are 17 horses.
Oh, well, fuck.
The article that I had was incorrect. Okay. This one was introduced in New Leaf.
Okay.
And then was subsequently in Happy Home Designer and New Horizons.
Was in New Horizons, okay.
Do you want a hint, Dan?
Yeah.
Because I recognize that this one is extremely tough. The name of this character starts with a PA, and you have 3 guesses.
A PA?
Yep.
Well done. Because the one I was thinking of was the only horse I can confidently remember, because a lot of them are plays on what their animal type is, like a bunch of them. Not all of them, but like, I'm pretty sure there was a Clyde, but I don't remember him living in dirt. And also doesn't
There
start
sure
with a
was
PA.
a horse named Clyde. He was also in New Leaf, Happy Home Designer, and New Horizons. I think Clyde's good enough, but if you can get this one, I'll give you a bonus point.
Well, if it's not the answer to the thing, the one you're referring to, is it like at least a play on being a horse?
No.
Okay, so the only horse I can think, like, because the only thing I would have been able to pull in terms of like horse terminology for for a PA would be Papillion, which I think is a breed of horse.
You know what? That's fucking close enough. This horse's name is Poppy.
Bullshit.
Papi. I'm gonna fucking give it to you.
Oh, then it must be a play on it.
It must be. It must be.
There's
a nickname.
no
I didn't
fucking...
realize it. I didn't realize that was a breed of horse.
Hold on, I'm Googling it.
Yeah, I just dropped a picture of Poppy into the Discord. But yes, I'll fucking take that one. There's.
I'm wrong. A Papillion is a dog, so.
Well,
this is
shouldn't have said anything. But anyway,
now. Well, I look like an idiot either way now.
Well, so actually, as it turns out, Poppy is also not a horse. I'm just realizing that the article that I read that was naming the 12 best horses in video games was just lying.
Okay.
Because Poppy is an okapi. Okapi? I don't know how to say that word.
Okapi?
Which is related to giraffes. So everything about this question was incorrect.
All right, so I get one for Clyde.
Yeah, I'll give you a point for Clyde, because that is a different horse in the Animal Crossing universe. All right.
This is
moving on.
Nightmare.
A mount whose sole purpose in life seemed to be not to listen to you as you traverse the world, looking for a somewhat/extremely self-centered way to revive your dead girlfriend. Your better-than-you counterpart in Shadow of the Colossus is named what?
And, like, the best thing about this is we covered this for the show.
Pretty sure we talked about the horse, too.
We did, because it's one of the most traumatic fucking things in that whole game when you lose him. But Aggro is one of the best horses ever.
I don't know if I would agree with one of the best horses ever, considering that...
I mean, he, doesn't make it to the end of the game.
He does not die, Dan.
Canonically?
Yep.
No.
Pops up in a post-credits scene. Does not die.
Yeah, but, like, you're maybe dead. So, like, does that count?
Good enough for me. That's what the article
Fair
said.
enough.
Although the article that I read was full of liars. So, moving on. In a trend that appears to be an absolutely brutal way for video games to make you face the mortality of beloved characters, your horse in The Last of Us 2 is crippled in a trap in Seattle and must be put down by someone I can only assume is killed moments later by Ellie. Hailing from the Jackson community, this horse carries Ellie halfway across the country and provides a particularly harrowing moment in an incredible game series. What was her name?
I do not remember. Yeah, I there's no way I'm pulling that. I love that game a lot. It is a traumatic scene. Dude could not for the life of me tell you the name of that horse.
Would you like a hint, Dan?
No, because it's like I feel like I've been giving way too much leeway. You can do that.
Oh no!
Don't
Don't worry. This is a hint that will probably not help you at all.
Great.
for half of these, I was like, this is going to be too hard. And for the other half, I was like, I have to make the most fucking abstract hints imaginable.
Beautiful.
So let me at least read my hint for you. So the name of this horse is a synonym for a symptom of a mirage and starts with a sound you might use if you were in a library.
I hate you a little bit.
Do you have a guess, Dan?
Okay, so it's Hush Oasis. Did I get it?
No. No, I'm sorry. It is Shimmer.
Yeah.
Shimmer is the name of your horse in The Last of Us Part 2. Okay.
Sure it is.
While extremely limited by the situations in which they can be summoned, your horse in Elden Ring is arguably your best friend as you traverse the lands between. Characterized by their ability to double jump as a horse, your steed in this game is named what?
Your fucking horse can double jump in Elden Ring?
It sure can.
Why?
At least if that article is to be believed, which I'm starting to doubt, but here we are.
Nah, we're not. I've never played Elden Ring. I don't ever intend to play Elden Ring.
Hold on. I have a hint that may actually help you
Go for it.
call your shot this horse's name. The name of this horse is also a way to describe a fast-moving wave of water.
Fast-moving wave of water?
Or an outdated way to download music.
All right, so obviously its name is LimeWire. No,
Got it in one.
what, like Torrent?
Correct, Dan.
Fuck outta
well
here.
done.
That's stupid. I don't feel good about
All right,
any
Dan.
of this.
Last but I just make up the points here. You know that.
Yeah.
Last but certainly not least, the Legend of Zelda series has immortalized characters like Link, Zelda, Ganon, Beetle, Midna, and the infamous Navi. Bonded with Link as a foal on the Lon Lon Ranch, this horse has appeared in several installments of the Legend of Zelda series, most recently as a gameplay character in Twilight Princess, but also available as an amiibo in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that's cool.
What is Link's horse's name?
Epona.
That is right, Dan. Was that the one that you thought you would be able to get?
Yep, from the jump of this, I'm like, if there's no Epona, I'm fucked forever. I could whistle Epona's song. I love that goddamn horse.
All right, Dan, that's 5 points today added to the much smaller board.
Not. There's
It
no
sure
way
is.
that was 5.
I'll fucking break it down for you. You got Rapidash, you got a point for Clyde, you got Aggro, you got Torrent, and you got Epona.
I feel good
That's
about
5.
3 of those, but that's fine.
I will admit I handed you Torrent, but you got the question right and didn't say Tsunami, so
That's true, because I couldn't
I'll take
remember
it.
ever having to Tsunami music before.
Tsunami music in the 90s.
Yeah.
Well done, Dan.
Thank you. I genuinely don't feel good about this, but I will take it. At any rate, that's just about going to do it for us today. Now, normally I would say, as always, you can follow us on both Twitter and Instagram, but due to some recent notifications and suggested posts that we've been getting, we're getting the fuck off of Twitter. We're done. We're not the only ones who have done so. In recent memory, Shea pointed out that the Trevor Project has also left Twitter, and I believe rightfully so. Like, if I ever get a notification from Candace fucking Owens on my phone again, I'm gonna chuck it out a window. So we will be moving from Twitter to Facebook. We are finally biting the bullet. Right now, as this episode drops, you can go to Facebook and search Broke End Gaming. We will be posting our cheap codes from there, as well as custom artwork. Or you can still follow us on Instagram at BNGPod.
If you want to share the show, you can use our hosting site, which is anchor.fm/BNGpod. And if you want to follow us on Twitch, where I will be making up streams that I missed this weekend, you can do so at twitch.tv/BNGpodcast. Then, once you have watched me humiliate myself playing Disco Elysium for 2.5 hours and not lying to anybody, you can catch the VODs at youtube.com/@BrokeNGamingPodcast.
And if you'd like to send us an email for any reason, say to tell us about your experiences with the PlayStation Store and whether or not we are out of our minds, you can do so at brokeendgamingpod@gmail.com. Hey, Shea, what are we playing next time?
Next time, Dan, we'll be welcoming back an aforementioned frequent guest of the podcast, Kelsey, to play The Artful Escape. So make sure you tune in for that.
I am definitely looking forward to this one. This is one of the more oddball kind of games that I tend to gravitate towards, and I think this is going to be a fun discussion. So make sure you tune in for that. But until then, goodbye, absolutely everyone.
Bye.
I might be wrong about this, but can't you get Epona as an Animal Crossing character in one of the games?
You sure fucking can.
Hell
you sure fucking can.
yes.
It's the... Okay, so she is available as an amiibo for New Leaf, which, interestingly, is the Animal Crossing game that has the most horses in it.
Oh.
Apparently including Buck, Julian, Poppy, and Savannah, who are a donkey, a unicorn, an okapi, and a zebra.
Well, now that the quiz is over, I'm looking this nonsense up. Whoa, what the fuck is this? Shea, are you seeing fucking Philly?
Wearing the 7-Eleven branded clothes?
Yeah. Am I out of my... That is what that is, yes?
That's fucking insane.
Okay.
Oh my god, she was part of a special 7-Eleven collaboration.
Fuck. I screwed up. This could have been a part of a quiz at some point. That's amazing.
Fuck me running.
I love this. Exclusive to Japan, where her RV could be invited to the campground while at a participating 7-Eleven. This is amazing. I adore it. That's great. Good for them.